Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline, the new and improved Pioneer Sideline. I am your host, Josh Frketic. Some clowns next to me this week. A true clown right here in Josh Eisenberg. Kevin Calhoun, James Berry, all with me today. We're talking about playoffs. The MLB playoffs, 3 sweeps this week. The Angels got swept the Red Sox. The Yankees swept the Twins, and the Dodgers swept the Cardinals, the NL Central Cardinals, mind you, the ones the Pirates couldn't beat either. So let's talk. Who do I want to start with? Kevin, let's start with you.
What's going on? How did I not know that was going to happen?
Let's start with what series should we? The Angels and the Red Sox.
Does he like Boston?
I don't know. Do you?
I might be a closet Red Sox fan, and by that I was devastated. They deserve to lose the series, though. I can admit that they did not play well. They didn't hit at all. And Papelbon got touched up for the first time in his playoff career. He looked terrible, really, to be honest.
James, what about those Bo Sox?
Don't get me started. One thing that got me is
Red Sox fans here on the show.
Can't help it. One thing that did get me is, like Kevin said, they didn't hit. They had a 158 average. Their average in this regular season was 270. They only got 1 home run in the 3 games. They had 212, which was 4th best in the league.
I think the one thing you have to look at is they're relying on Jason Bays being their 6th hitter, the guy to clean up everybody's dirty work after, Ortiz goes through and Euclid. He's not the guy that is going to be in the 6th spot next year for this team. I don't think he's going to be a Boston Red Sox next year at all.
You want to know why?
He's going to ask for too much money, and he doesn't deserve that because he has no heart. If he comes back to the Pirates, I will.
Guess who wants him back? There was a report this morning on the radio that I listened to that
he's not going to come back.
The Pirates want to bring Bay back.
There's no chance that he's going to come back. They're not going to give him money.
No chance.
He's not going to be.
No chance.
There's a slim chance because they do have some money to work with, but I don't think
do
he'll
have
go
money.
somewhere else.
So why waste it on Bay and lose 95 games like you did 2 years ago?
I'll just tell you what, Bay won't be in Boston. You'll be seeing Matt Holliday stand next to the Green Monster next season.
Ooh.
Wow.
Possible. I mean, they give everybody else money, so.
We bring up an interesting conversation. I want to go back to Bay for a second here. You say there's no chance. Barry says there's a slim chance. You say that there's no chance. But why not? When this payroll is like it was, we've seen the Pirates go out there and spend money on elder players. Bay is getting to that point where he's an older player. Let's start talking about some of these guys. Jeremy Burnitz they brought in. Derek Bell, when he was like 42, they brought in and gave him $7 million to play baseball. I mean, Bay's starting to get to that age, and he liked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh liked him.
I'll tell you why, and it's because there's a team in New York that loves picking up former Red Sox that he can fill a position, and they'll pay him money. The Yankees would take him, and he'd go to the Yankees before he would go to the Pirates.
I don't know, man. I honestly think the Pirates could get him, but at the same time, there are other teams out there that would be willing to pay more money for him.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, to be there. So.
Yeah, he's going to offer too much money. He had a productive year, not average-wise, but RBIs and home runs. Even though they play with a very prolific Red Sox lineup, a great lineup with Ortiz and Euclid and J.D. Drew and all these guys, he's not coming back.
And but in that same instance, he's played well as a Pirate. He hit well at PNC Park. He fielded well at PNC Park too. He played pretty darn well. But what would you do with him? Would you put him in left field, switch Millage over to right, and let McCutchen play in center field? I mean, is that what it would be?
I'd rather have him not on the team at all and go.
Well, hold on.
Before he got traded to Pittsburgh, he was batting .238. But we don't need a guy who can't hit for average. He's not going to be a home run hitter all the time.
So you'd rather see Millage, McCutchen, and Brandon Moss in the outfield?
I'd rather have Garrett Jones out there who hit 20 home runs
and
in
have
3
Steve
months.
Pearce play first base?
You don't go out and spend a bunch of money on a guy who you could not already win with. You couldn't win with Bay. Why not go for starting
win with
pitching?
Steve Pearce at first base?
I'd rather have starting pitching than somebody like Jason Bay in the outfield again.
He won't be in Pittsburgh.
He's not
coming back.
It's a moot point. He's not coming back.
He's not an elite player, and he didn't fit in. That's why Francona, he batted him 6th and 7th toward the end of the season because he doesn't play with any heart, and that's really what the Red Sox have been based off of the last 10 years. But you know what? He's still a good player. He had more than 100 RBIs. There's another team he'd rather play for that'll pay more money than the Pirates.
He doesn't want to lose. I don't think he wants to lose anymore either, guys.
I think I'm with Eisenberg on this. I'd rather have starting pitching.
So you went from a slim chance to no chance, Barry?
You know what? No, I didn't change it. I just said I'd rather have starting pitching than Jason Bay.
All right, well, let's get out of the Bay topic. Let's go back to the playoffs. It was a nice little swing, change of pace there. I liked it a little bit. But let's talk about the playoffs again. Let's stick with the AL there with the Yankees and the Angels. What do you guys take on the Yankees and Angels?
You know what? It's going to be a great series, and the Angels had 8 or 9 guys batting .300 for the entire year. That's a great offense. But the Yankees have a little bit of a better offense, guys, and I really think the big difference is going to be starting pitching for the Yankees. CC Sabathia, going to be great.
Good. Kevin?
You know what? I look at this series, and I look at it the same way I looked at the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs last year. A team that wins on the road will win this series, because if the Angels can take one of two in New York, I like them in this series.
Very quickly.
All right, I think the Yankees are going to win this one. It's going to come down to who can have a better offense. And the Yankees had 244 home runs this year, which was first in the league. So
that's kind of a bloated number,
yeah,
though,
I know,
where they
but
play.
I'm saying that.
Guys, I appreciate it. We'll see you next week. But we got to run, too. Search for us online. You can check us out on our Twitter accounts. Myself, Nikki Porter, John